Greetings and welcome once again to my new calculus channel. My name is John Gabriel, and in this episode of Musings 20, I'm going to talk about something better known as complex number theory. A long time ago, on a continent far, far away, which most of you haven't been to, a continent called Africa, over 3 decades ago, at least, I was contemplating the basics of complex number theory. So, what interested me the most was the rotation matrices. And of course, these have nothing to do with I squared or anything else except trigonometry, and they're not numbers. They're simply a vector which has two components, like a coordinate, very much like a coordinate, like this here, which has 4.8 and 0.78405. Okay. And I wanted to understand these things. So I made sure that I understood the matrix calculations, the clockwise and the counterclockwise, and how to translate one point or map one point, as you see with this red mapping here, to another point using this mapping and this degrees. Okay, so it could be any number of degrees you like. You can take a function which you input, as I'll show you in a moment. You input the function. Let's just change this view here to, oh, I've got algebra. Okay. So you input the function over here on the left, and then you watch this thing play out. Okay. So if you have, let's say, 60 degrees, and you say, oh, just before you continue, the applet's quite advanced because you can show the calculations here. Okay. And I didn't know GeoGebra. In fact, I didn't know GeoGebra only until a few years ago. So, but I knew these things theoretically. But I didn't know GeoGebra well enough to realize you could do things like set when I created this applet, like set the background, for example, background color to that, and then you can see it clearly. So if you had to do this here and you did the same thing there, it takes out the background so it's easier to read. Okay, whoops. Did I do that right? Oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. I don't know what I did there. I want to do the background. So it's that and that. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. You can do this yourself because I'm going to offer you the applet. Now, what it's doing now is it's going through this whole thing, showing you real time what's happening. But I'm going to do better than that. Okay, I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to stop this and stop rotation, and I'm going to reset it like that. And I'm going to show you now how this maps my closed form trigonometric ratio formula to an inclination of 60 degrees. Okay. And this is how it does it. Let's begin. So it's this function here in black, which is going to be tilted 60 degrees. Isn't that neat? Of course it is. Right. I'll place a link to these ancient trigonometric trig formulas which I came up with, but most of you won't be able to understand it. Then I'll also place a link to an important article called What Are or Is a Real Number Line Real? Because, your dumb professors at mathematics, they've never understood mathematics, never mind real number. And you'll often get incredibly stupid comments. Like this guy here, I don't seem to be able to go there. For example, I get recommended articles in my feed. And when I go to messages, the latest one was some knucklehead who wrote real number generalizations of the reals in theory. So this is my response. Since his first paragraph was a load of rubbish, I just didn't bother reading further. In the 1870s, set theory was developed by Cantor, Bolzano, Dedekind, and Weierstrass to the point where the real number line could be precisely defined. Absolute rubbish. Couldn't be defined, and Weierstrass didn't base any rigorous treatment because Weierstrass didn't have a rigorous treatment of calculus because there wasn't a real number line. So they were all stupid cranks. The people who came after Cantor, Bolzano, and Dedekind, the stupid cranks that teach you mathematics in universities worldwide. So, and you're obviously your high school teachers. Now, around about the early 1980s, maybe even before, I was in my first year of university and I had a colored professor. I'm mentioning his race because it was during the peak of apartheid. He was really a very intelligent lecturer. He taught us the first mainstream course in mathematics, and I would say he was better than any of the others. It was unusual because he wasn't a white man. And I'll relate one of the events that happened at the time because I was asked to relate this as a story. And so here it is. So he gave us an equation like this to solve, and everybody, went about spending time solving it. I was obviously the first to solve it. And then finally, after he had finished going over the solution to that, then he wrote down another equation. He wrote down this equation here. Okay. And he asked them to solve this. And I knew the solution to this in zero point 0.1 milliseconds because I happened to be a genius. So I looked up at him smiling and looked back at me smiling, pursed his lips, and with his index finger motioned to me to not tell anybody what the solution is. Can you tell what the solution of this equation is? Well, the answer is very simple. And in any case, so that was one of the events that happened in my first semester of mathematics. Long time ago on a continent far, far away from all the others, and one that most of you haven't been to. But it's a great continent anyway. I was born in North Africa. So that's pretty much it. If you're not already a subscriber to my channel, become a subscriber. Follow me on academia.edu. I will give you links to this free applet plus 2 articles, as I show you in here. Is a real number line real? And the trig formulas, and of course the free applet. So till next time, I'm John Gabriel. This is New Calculus Channel.